Hi, everyone, and welcome to our demo series webinar. Today, our topic is AI-powered recommendations for hyper-personalization. My name is Kristen Session. I'm a product marketing manager here at Blue Shift, and today I'm joined by Ajay Sundar, Senior Solutions Consultant. On the agenda today, we're going to do a quick overview of predictive recommendations. Then we have a great demo with use cases with Ajay, and then we'll cover some key benefits as well as some customer examples. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So I think we all know that AI is in pretty much everything we do today, and AI has been at the center of a lot of our conversations lately with the launch of ChatGPT and other generative AI tools. And AI can specifically help marketers by answering the who, what, when, and where. So today we're going to specifically be talking about the what with predictive recommendations and how you can use them to personalize your customer engagement. So in today's increasingly digital world, the volume of customer choices can be super overwhelming, and customers expect brands to provide personalized experiences that enhance their overall experience with a brand. So how do we create one-to-one experiences with large volumes of products and contents, as well as a large volume of users? The answer is by using and leveraging AI for predictive recommendations. So what are predictive recommendations? Predictive recommendations are AI-generated content and product recommendations. They're exactly what they sound like. Predictive recommendations enable marketers to deliver true one-to-one experiences by connecting customers with the product and content that is most likely to drive the highest engagement. You can pull directly from any catalog to incorporate these recommendations into your cross-channel campaigns, and then these adapt in real time based on each customer's current behaviors. And in our 2023 benchmark report, we analyzed 38 billion messages sent by Blue Shift customers on our platform and found that messages with AI-powered recommendations resulted in a 166% higher conversion rate. So with that, we have a small understanding of what predictive recommendations are. So I'm going to turn it over to Ajay so we can actually dive into the platform and show us some really great use cases and demo how you can do this. So I'll turn it over to you, Ajay.
Perfect. So here I'm in the Blue Shift platform, and we are in our recommendations module. So what I'm going to be walking you through is how you can quickly add recommendations using myriad of recipes that we provide out of the box. To be able to do that, let's start with adding what we call a block of recommendation. So once you hit new block, you can see you're brought to the screen where you can choose a recipe for your recommendation block. And in terms of recipes, it can span across industries. So what I mean by that is in terms of categories, these recipes can be just general recommendation recipes, and it can be in retail, media, automotive, finance, and many more. So overall, we have more than 100 recipes which are built and constantly updated by our data science and AI teams. And what this means to marketers is be able to quickly select any of these recipes. You can have one or more recipes in a recommendation to be able to personalize to your customers based on their purchase behavior and their interaction behavior across your products. So now let's look at some of the most common and popular recipes which help solve for the difficult problems marketers face in terms of customer engagement and acquisition and conversion. So let's look at the recipes here in retail. I hit show more, starting from top. So we're looking at abandoned cart here. So once you click on a recipe, you're brought to the screen where it gives you the category, the description of what the recipe is. In this case, abandoned cart, as the name suggests, this is about replaying items that were added to the cart, but not purchased during checkout. So the goal of a marketer is to make sure their end user or customer purchases these products. So that's exactly what this recipe is used for. And you can see there are requirements. So add to cart is a required event for this recipe, and purchase event, right? You want to be able to reach out to customers who have added things to the cart, but not purchase them. And then you have input, which is important in terms of the timeline of when a product was added to the cart. And finally, suggested use cases. This is very, very useful for marketers to be able to understand which recipes to use for what type of use cases. So that's an example of a recipe in this case, which is abandoned cart. As we moved on further, in the second row, we have back in stock and low in stock. So imagine a marketer trying to understand about users who are looking at a product, right? They are super engaged. And you want to be able to target these users whenever an item is back in stock because they may be interested and they are ready to check out, but it's out of stock. Or you want to push those items which are low in stock. So to be able to do these exact two scenarios, you use these recipes of back in stock as well as low in stock. As we moved on further, you have here next items based on recent purchases, right? So in this case, a customer has purchased a product. You want to engage with them based on their recent purchase to show them relevant products. So this is the recipe you will be using to show the relevant products based on their recent purchases. Another very, very interesting and a complex problem that's being solved with our recipe is price drop. So imagine a customer who's looking at a product multiple times, they're really interested, but they have to be notified when a price drops, right? Because if it's about the price, they definitely want to be notified about that because they want to pay less than paying more. So this is the recipe that you would be using to notify customers about price drop, where it takes into account what product they're looking at, how much they have viewed, and the sort of interactions that they have had with the product. As we move down further, one of the common recipes here is post-purchase cross-sell. So a customer has bought a product. In terms of post-purchase, it can be next best products which are complementary and also things which are across brands, or if someone bought a t-shirt, you want to be able to cross-sell based on pants or shorts or any of them. So the post-purchase cross-sell recipe is perfectly suited for that. And finally, at the bottom of the list, we have something called similar items to previous block. What this means and the power it provides to the marketer is you can choose multiple recipes and add them to a single recommendation. So in the case of similar items to previous block, say for example, your block one is about abandoned cart, the similar items to previous block helps you keep the context. What that means is based on the previous block, you are able to recommend other items which are relevant to them. So that's how powerful these recipes are and make data easily accessible to marketers to quickly be able to build recommendations and personalize to customers across scale. So let's see how this works in real life, right? So I'm going to choose an abandoned cart recipe, select the recipe, and you can see here on the left, the add to cart event has already been chosen as input. In terms of exclusions, it's purchase. So you don't want to be reaching out to people who already purchased the product. So once you hit save, you can see the list of items which were abandoned in the cart by, in this case, Matt Johnson. And there are 4 key elements that I want to point out here from a marketer in terms of data accessibility. The first one, like you already know, is inputs. So apart from add to cart, you can add additional events based on your goal. Second is item exclusions. Like we already saw, purchase, right? In the case of abandoned cart, we want to exclude people who have already purchased a product. And the third is item filters. So this gives you total flexibility and access to all of the catalog attributes. So what I mean by that is under item filter, if you want to promote only products which have a specific star rating or only items which are under a specific brand or category, you have total flexibility and access to the data in your catalog. So this is where the true power of the platform comes into play, where it makes data accessible for marketers so they can take action on it quickly. And the way I look at item filters is exactly like if you're cooking, first you look for a recipe and then you add your own sprinkles of personalization. So that's exactly how this works. You choose the recipe and then add your filters in terms of inclusion as well as exclusion. And finally, the fourth component here is output. So in terms of output, there are 2 key callouts. The number of items that you want to show in terms of recommendations, you see 2 out of 4. So if you want to reduce it to just 2, you can totally do that or increase the number of products. And finally, parent items. So what that means to you as a marketer is not just being able to recommend items at the granular product level, in this case, t-shirt, or shots, you can also recommend products at a parent level, which is based on the category that they fall under. So now we have our first block, which is abandoned cart. Now let's go ahead and see how you can add an additional block, because it's not just about reaching out to Matt about what he left in the cart. We also want to add a layer of like other products for him to consider. So hopefully he purchases these products. So to do that, go and add another block. In this case, I'm going to use the search option here. So let's see similar. So I'm going to be choosing the recipe, which is similar items to previous block based on items in the abandoned cart. So I hit save. You can see the previous block name is auto-populated with exactly what we already have. So that's super useful for marketers. So once I save, you can see there are 2 blocks, which I've literally added within a matter of minutes to be able to personalize for Matt in terms of what he left in the cart. And the second block is about relevancy, right? So you can see there was a t-shirt which was added and left in the cart, and previous block items which are related to them are additional t-shirts. You can also see how this changes for different users. So let's see, people, abandoned cart. So we're looking for Matt. Now when we toggle it, you can see for Megan, she has 3 items in the cart, and her recommended items, which are related to the previous block, are a good long sleeve, which Blueshift is recommending. So this is how quick and easy it is for marketers to be able to build recommendations from using any of our recipes that we have out of the box. And please note, all of these recipes are constantly being updated by our data science and AI teams based on the most complex problems marketers are solving. All right, now that you have seen how easy it is to be able to build recommendations, the next key part of it is like being able to use them. So the key advantage of building these recommendations is you build this once and you can use them across channels, which could be email, SMS, push, in-app, as well as on your website. Let's see how this looks by taking email as an example. So I have an email template here ready. You can see in terms of the template, we have where the items in the cart for Megan. And as we scroll down further, we handpick these for you is the other items which are similar to what she left in the cart. So this is how quick and easy it is for a marketer. Once you build the recommendation, you can use them pretty much by going into the data tab and choosing the recommendation quickly. And it's another example that I have here, apart from abandoned cart, is post-purchase upsell, because we saw that recipe, and this is one of the common problems marketers face in terms of what to recommend based on purchase behavior. So using that recipe, you can see here are some deals for, in this case, Megan, based on the recent purchase. So that's how quick and easy it is for a marketer to be able to not just build recommendations, but also use them across channels. And the final channel that we want to show about here is push. So again, here you can see for Matt, the recommendations keep changing. This is for an abandoned cart. So as a marketer, you want to push these recommendations across channels. This is exactly how you do it. You build once and then use them across channels. But that just brings you or solves 2/3 of the problem, right? You build and you use. But the final piece of the puzzle is to see if these recommendations really work. To be able to do that, I actually have a campaign for you to test and see how this works in real life. And here you have a simple campaign, which is abandoned cart. And I'm looking at just email. In this case, I'm A/B testing a variation of without recommendations and the second variation, which has recommendations. So this is how you can use recommendations in your campaigns, and you can get into our reports to see the lift that you get based on recommendations. Like Kristen pointed out earlier, about 166% increase is what our customers saw in terms of using recommendations. And the 2 key advantages here is you can test using recommendations versus not. And the second, also test out the different types of recommendations. For a post-purchase, you can promote recipes based on a particular brand or a particular category, based on whatever your need is. You can also test different recipes quickly and easily. So that brings us to the end of the demonstration in terms of using recommendations for hyper-personalization for customers to increase engagement as well as acquisition. Now, let me move it back to Kristen so she can summarize what we have learned, and she has a couple of interesting tidbits too. Over to you, Kristen.
Thanks, AJ. Really great use cases. Let me get my screen back up here. Great. Yeah, it's awesome to really see how beneficial recommendations are for not only the marketer, but also the customer experience. So let's dive in again. So for marketers, it makes AI accessible with an easy to use interface, which everyone just saw, and the library of over 100 of those pre-built recommendation recipes that can be really customized to any use case. And after that, it's really on autopilot. Recommendations are dynamic and they're auto-updated as those customer behaviors change, like I mentioned before. And then once you build a recommendation, like you saw with the abandoned cart, you then can use it across all of your channels, whether it's SMS, email, push notifications, or even the web. And then for the customer side, delivering hyper-personalized recommendations result in that better overall customer experience. It helps them find the products that they need or the content that they're looking for really quickly, while also discovering new products. And that results in customers really feeling like a brand knows them and their needs and their preferences, and then deliver that consistent experience across channels. So, you know, we say smarter marketing equals happy and engaged customers. And I truly believe that. I think recommendations, you know, make it more efficient for the marketer. But then again, you know, on the customer side, they get a better experience as well. So just to recap, as you saw, recommendations with Blueshift are made really easy. You can choose from over 100 out-of-the-box recipes to get started for those main industry use cases, next best product, trending items, and more. Then you can build the email with drag and drop editor to put in those recommendations and then test it. You know, you want to see the results of your efforts and keep optimizing from there. So, you know, we showed you, you know, from our point of view, we showed you what it is, but how do real customers use it? So we have a couple brief examples for you. So rental marketplace Zumper, they have 500,000 apartments live on their website at any point in time with close to 100 million users. So due to the fast nature of the rental inventory and the rental industry, it's really, really important that they're matching users to the right apartment at the right time. So with triggered automated campaigns that leverage those recommendations, they've actually been able to scale their leads by 384%, which is really impressive. So we won't dive into this. We have a really great case study on the website. So if you want to read more into that, and there's a video as well, you can go to blueshift.com/customers to read more about that and kind of dig into how they use recommendations. And then one more example for you all is Skillshare. So we recently hosted a webinar with Skillshare. Really highly recommend going to watch that. But in this webinar, they highlighted how they use recommendations in their emails to provide learners with the most relevant classes for them. So here you can see two examples of, well, how they do that in these really beautiful emails. And then the example on the right, which is their personal picks email, actually had a 71% higher click-through rate than other newsletters. This really shows the impact that personalization can have, you know, including those recommendations, speaking to the user's needs, helping them find maybe courses that they didn't even know that they needed, really important. So you can also go to our website to watch this webinar. She has really great tidbits on, you know, how to use recommendations in other parts of AI as well. And you can go to blueshift.com/events. So with that, I hope that you got a lot of information that you needed in this webinar. If you're interested in learning more or have any additional questions, visit our website and go to contact us, and we'd be happy to answer those. So thanks again, AJ, for the really great demo, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, guys.